Hey, Crossroads community. This past Sunday, we launched an end of the year initiative called Stream Your Church, swinging the doors of the church wide open to connect people to Jesus and love our community. I'd love for you to pay attention to the video from this past Sunday to hear all about it. As a church, it's our vision to connect people to Jesus and love our community. A couple weeks ago in our elders meeting, elders and staff, we were talking. Every year around this time, we evaluate and look and say, what is something as a church that would really move the needle forward a little bit? What's something that as a church we could really jump into the middle of to make a difference? And one of the questions that we asked is Jesus tells us to go and make disciples. Like, that's our biggest call as Jesus followers, as a church, is to go and make disciples. So then we ask this question, where are people at? Where are people at? And you can answer that question a lot of different ways. You could say, well, I'm right here. You could say, well, my neighbor's next door, or someone's down the street. My parents live across town. You could say, well, someone in the next county or over in this school district. You can answer it, and you could say, well, in a different county or a different state. You could even answer that question of any other country around the world. And when you look at all of the, there's a lot of differences in all of those people, okay? We don't have time to talk about those. But there's one thing that connects almost all of them. Whether it's a person down the street, or whether it's your neighbor next door, or someone in another country, or something like that, there is something that connects all of those. And love it or hate it, what connects all of those different people, to answer the question of where are people at, the answer is technology, right? Technology connects, love it or hate it, technology connects all of us. And I don't know about you, but I don't think it's going anywhere, right? Like, I don't think tomorrow we're just gonna wake up and be like, you know what, I'm done with this computer thing. I just want to handwrite all my notes, like, probably it's not going anywhere. And there are lots of advantages and disadvantages. But when answering the question, where are people at, if Jesus calls us to go to people and make disciples, the answer to the question is people are online. People are invested in technology. There's some of us that right now, we have our phone in our hand. And I'm sure it's because you're waiting in anticipation for the Bible verse to come up. I know. Okay, we are connected all over the place. And so as a church, we recognize that if we're to go to where people are at, then it requires us to step even further into technology areas and social media platforms and all of those different areas. And so as a church, every year when we evaluate what's something we could really move the needle on, and we focus our end of the year offering on that area. Last year we sent between $15,000 and $20,000 to 2 different missions, and we helped build a church in Thailand and Burma, and we helped air condition the dorms at our church camp. Both of those were an awesome thing to be a part of, and we've made improvements to the building around here. But this year, where our leaders feel like we could really make the biggest difference if we're going to connect people to Jesus and love our community and make disciples, is to kind of swing the front door of the church wide open in the social media realms. What this means is that in the next upcoming weeks, we're setting a goal of nearly $30,000. And what this is for, okay, is that by this time next year, it is a goal of our church and our leaders is that we'll be live streaming one of our services. We'll say, Matt, I really like coming to church. Great, that's the idea. But there's some people on a day like today when it's snowing, they can't get here. And as technologically advanced as it was last year when we set Leroy's cell phone on a stand right here, I mean, as advanced as that was, we want to move the needle a little bit forward to allow people to be able to not just see what's going on, but actually hear it. We want to use that there are people in our church right now that the first place that they looked at Crossroads was in one of those weather online services. Well, last year when we set that phone up here, now on one of the Sundays, there was over 4,000 people that connected at some point over the upcoming or the following weeks after that from 4 different states. And so we see this as an opportunity, not to replace church, but to say, hey, if we upgrade our soundboard and if we update a couple of cameras and some wiring, and there's some technology talk here that I'm not going to bore you with because I don't even understand it. But the people that do, they know what they're doing. To upgrade some of these things to make it possible for people to connect with Jesus and then come spend time with us. To see, hey, church might not be so scary And I want to be a part of what's going on there. We also see that kind of in our neck of the woods in small town and rural America, that sometimes a healthy church is not there. Sometimes a church is not there at all. And so if we could bring church to a place and to connect someone to Jesus, then that's what he's called us to do. And so over the next couple of weeks, we're kind of naming this Stream Your Church. And we're going to have a special offering next week and the following week to try to raise this. And you can give online. There's an option to do that. And it's not about the offering and it's not about the money. It's about what God could do if we opened up the front doors and said, all right, here we are. We would love to connect Jesus to you wherever you are at. That's kind of what we're aiming at. We'll do it in steps as we need to, but that's our goal as a church, to connect people to Jesus and love our community in the online realm, not just in the person realm. Because if we can connect someplace out there, then hopefully we can meet here together to follow him together.